One day, Janie, 3.5, comes home from school and says, "Daddy, why don't we believe in Jesus?" And I'm like, realize I'm in deep trouble. I know I'm supposed to raise my kids Jewish. I know it's my job. And I have no idea what I believe and why I believe it. I have no idea what it means to be a Jew at this point. So at that point, I knew I had to figure this out. Back then, if I think about what I believed, what I thought Jesus was, to me, there were some things I knew Jesus was not. Jesus was not for the Jewish people. I didn't even know if Jesus existed. I put him somewhere with Santa Claus as a fictitious story that people had made up. But I did know. People that believed in Jesus, that I looked back on my life, there was something different about them, that they had a peace and a joy about them. Edna Burns, wow. She, amazing black woman, came from the South, took a bus up, no job, no money. Her teeth were even dentures or something. They weren't even real teeth. But what I loved about Edna, and everyone loves Edna, everyone knew there was something different about Edna in my family. She had so much wisdom. She had so much love, so much patience. And we knew she loved Jesus. And we knew there was something different about Edna. 34, 35, maybe 40 years after Edna entered our house and was one of the major influences in my life that I just am so thankful for every day. She passes away. I'm so asleep, probably selfish, that as opposed to going to this woman that took care of me forever, I say, I'm not gonna go. I wanna play in a tennis tournament. So I walk into that funeral, and it is deep, deep center Philadelphia, but there were mouths running through it. It was dirty. It was a church that was built, and I think about it, there was maybe 20 benches there. They were kind of beaten up, and it was just a room. But if I look back in that room at that time, there was so much spirit and passion and excitement and joy. And Edna, who they loved, had passed away. And I will never forget that moment and the joy and the excitement in that room for Jesus. I grew up in a great Reformed Jewish family where Judaism was so important to us. And the rabbi was a great family friend, very smart man, and someone I had a lot of respect for. It's just a beautiful temple with great ceilings and great drawings on the roof and a beautiful choir. That Reformed Judaism was a huge part of my life. But to me, there was something missing there. We read about David and we read the Psalms and we read the Torah, but did we really believe it? Did the rabbi believe it? Or was it just a story that we were hearing? It's Yom Kippur. I'm still focused on what it's like to be a Jew. So we go through Yom Kippur. I'm fasting like a good Jew does. My heart is pounding. I am itching all over. I can't breathe. And we barely get to the hospital in time. The people at the hospital saved my life. And I think I'm having a heart attack and about to die. I'm basically in anaphylactic shock, and my body shuts down. What happened on that day, I look back on it, and it was a clear wake-up call. And I knew that, again, still, God's chasing me, and I have to figure something out at this point. That, again, pushed me on my journey to really try and figure out what is the truth and what do I believe? Now I'm really starting to research. Now I'm reading. I went 35 years and I didn't read anything. So I read more in 2 years than I had in my whole life combined. I read a book by Stan Telchin called Betrayed. Stan is a gentleman that was trying to convince others that his daughter was wrong because she came home and said that she was Jewish and that Jesus was real. And Stan's whole mission was to prove her wrong. All of a sudden, I put it down and I said to my friend, this is me. What he said here is exactly what I'm going through. God at this point begins to send more and more people that I used to think were weird, maybe less, but there was some peace that they had. And for me, they had the truth. And there was some level of peace and comfort and assurance that they were walking around with. And I became envious of that. There was a great teacher in New York City, a preacher named Tim Keller. I remember hearing him, and everything he said made sense. It was so simple. It was so orderly. And I look at that in contrast to the teaching that I had in the Reformed Temple. I said to myself, where is the Jewish Tim Keller? And I realized it was because Tim had truth on his side. And the Reform rabbi was doing a great job being a good person, but he didn't have the truth in the foundation. The only thing I thought I knew was that Jesus, Yeshua, was not for the Jews. Now I am 100% sure as I look at the Torah and I read the Bible that Jesus is for the Jews.